Even if XRP was removed from the green list maintained by the New York State Department of Financial Services, is it still legitimate? 9 out of 10 central banks, according to a recent analysis from Ripple, are looking into CBDCs, and some of them are even looking to Ripple to form CBDC partnerships. In addition, The Edge Singapore recently released a report detailing the extraordinary sums of money exchanged thanks to its on-demand liquidity provider, TrainGlue. Do we expect a resolution to be reached since Ripple's executives recently met with the SEC? If so, read on to discover out the justifications I'm using. If this is something that interests you, I highly recommend watching this brand new video right now. Welcome to our channel, where we discuss recent developments in the world of XRP and other cryptocurrencies. In particular, XRP has been removed off the list of acceptable digital assets for safekeeping by the New York Department of Financial Services. Concerns were raised since a U.S. federal judge had already determined that XRP is a digital asset. In a recent tweet, Wall explained why XRP's exclusion from the green list is not the result of the reasons most people assume. He began by explaining the NYDFS technique of virtual asset regulation for businesses. A New York State Department of Financial Services acceptance bid license allows organizations to offer crypto asset company, according to a cited official source. He revealed that the scope of the license extends beyond just the purchase and sale of cryptocurrencies to include the provision of brokerage services, the issuance of tokens, the exchange of cryptocurrencies for fiat currency, and more. In addition, Walk emphasized the importance of NYDFS clearance for the company's plans to enter the New York market. The license, on the other hand, is meant to safeguard the state's monetary system. For the NYDFS, this means making sure that service providers for digital assets follow all the usual precautions with regards to security, including having adequate Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering safeguards in place. He maintains a clean list of digital currencies that he believes will help it succeed. The approved digital assets are included on the list provided to license holders automatically. He continued by saying the list is often brief and consists mostly of steady coins. It was also revealed that XRP wasn't the only cryptocurrency to make the cut. Both Litecoin and Dogecoin, he pointed out, were noticeably absent. The withdrawal of XRP, Walk contended, is not equivalent to a complete ban. He disclosed that commercial activity in XRP and other dreadful cryptocurrencies is still possible. The one and only snag is that further approval from the New York regulator is needed for such an undertaking. In particular, Walk emphasized that XRP is not a prohibited digital asset under New York law. He clarified that the asset is not necessarily disapproved for New York DFS regulated organizations, therefore, the removal primarily impacts codes that cannot handle the additional scrutiny of applying for a license in New York while supplying office tokens. It was concluded that the lack of XRP on the New York Department of Financial Services green list is an additional regulatory hurdle for businesses looking to sell XRP. In order to be among the first to learn about any new developments involving XRP, please subscribe to our channel and enable push notifications. Financial Hub, the concept of digital currency, has been gaining popularity over the past few years. A combination of factors, including the global currency crisis and the rising popularity of cryptocurrencies, has contributed to this development. The expanding CBDC trend has been recognized by Ripple in its most recent research. 9 out of 10 central banks are looking towards starting a CBDC, the paper claims. The Bank for International Settlements commissioned the research that forms the basis of this paper. 90% of the apex banks polled by BIS in their 2022 study were reportedly engaged in various stages of CBDC deployment. The 2022 BIS report has been confirmed by the Atlantic Council's CBDC tracker. 130 countries are at varying points of CBDC development, according to statistics from June 2023. This sum accounts for nearly all of the world's GDP. The Atlantic Council states that nearly all G20 nations have fully developed CBDCs. Additionally, 11 nations have shown their complete support for the CBDC system. With monthly transactions totaling over $3.6 billion, China easily leads the pack. For example, the forecast that CBDC payments will hit $213 billion by 2030 has been confirmed by research from Yuan Juniper. James Wallace, vice president of CBDC at Ripples, has said that collaboration between the public and commercial sectors is crucial to the industry's development. He argues that central banks may oversee the framework while private companies spearhead breakthroughs. In May, Ripple released a service to facilitate the issuance of CBDCs by central banks. Central banks can use the Ripple CBDC platform to create, circulate, redeem, and destroy tokens. 8 major central banks were reportedly using the Ripple platform in August. The platforms provide apex banks with more flexible and effective CBDCs. Ripple's CBDC platform runs on the XRP blockchain, but it's constructed on a separate private blockchain. According to Ripple, CBDCs are gaining popularity around the world because they facilitate faster and cheaper domestic and international money transfers. CBDCs can aid in this endeavor by providing customers with payment and credit services. The private sector will also feel the effects of the growing popularity of CBDCs. They have therefore speculated that CBDCs may alter the international monetary and banking system. In addition, the paper claims that TrueGlow allowed SMEs to process approximately $1 billion in Ripple payments. The value of all DL transactions has climbed from $53 million and 2 cents in 2008 to $970 million in 2017. This is a fact that Odile has specifically emphasized. In that time frame, the discrepancy in Odile processed transactions represents a rise of 1,729%. CryptoAri, a prominent figure in the XRP community, updated his followers on the news via X. In particular, the paper documented the Ripple Partners' expansion from a Malaysian cross-border payment service to a global remittance provider. It showed how the trend low, by focusing on its customers, rose to become a worldwide competitor. Jackie Lee, Group CEO of Tranquilo, has provided further detail on the guiding principles that form the basis of the company's strategy. According to Lee Tremolo, the first step on the company's path was tailoring IT services to meet the needs of individual customers. Lee advocated for the provision of services for those who needed to add money to their overseas airtime accounts. He said that they were needed by the families of foreign employees, so we stepped in to stabilize supply. In 2015, we shifted our focus back to international transactions, with the goal of meeting the growing demand for cheaper remittances. Lee also noted that key components of the company's strategy included developing a strong team and establishing key partnerships. TrueGlow recently tweeted its appreciation for Ripple's collaboration, calling it fundamental to the company's growth. To get to the meat of today's topic, are we to anticipate that a settlement is imminent following Ripple's executive's most recent visit to the SEC? Don't miss out on being the first to know what's going on with XRP. Subscribe to our channel and enable push notifications now. Shockingly, top officials from Ripple Labs recently traveled to Washington, D.C. to lobby for crypto-friendly legislation before the United States Congress. CEO Brad Garlinghouse led the delegation to the nation's capital. The other senior Ripple Labs executives include Stuart LDRD, the company's chief legal officer, public policy leader, worldwide vice president. When Garlinghouse went to the X platform to make the announcement, Rob Brent accompanied him. The CEO of Ripple revealed that he and LDRD have returned to the nation's capital to speak with members of Congress. He stressed the need to communicate with legislators who are in charge of bill introduction to obtain regulatory clarity. This new twist in the company's multi-year legal battle against the SEC comes more than 2 months after a federal court handed the highly anticipated summary ruling. The court found in favor of the major blockchain payments provider in part because most of the company's XRP-related transactions did not violate federal securities laws. Company executives recently delivered a cryptic statement to the SEC in response to the regulator's efforts to seek an interlocutory appeal of the verdict on Ripple's program's sales of XRP and other disbursements. He tweeted yesterday, with the caption, "Me and at Garland House in front of the U.S. Supreme Court." While the sector waits for legislative clarity from Congress, we can remain confident in the reliability of checks and balances in the meantime. Not even a few hours later, Garland House posted another photo of himself and Al-Daredi in front of the SEC headquarters, this time clarifying that their visit to the SEC's building was not based on invitation. Some supporters believe that Ripple executives have already indirectly informed the SEC that they are prepared to take the dispute to the Supreme Court if necessary. After visiting the SEC headquarters, some have speculated that Ripple may be preparing a settlement with the agency. In light of the new information, Shore, and a prominent member of the XRP community and founder of Desert Capital named Maverick has indicated that the image is not a settlement message from Ripple. If the SEC doesn't come to its senses, Maverick says the dispute between them and Ripple might reach the Supreme Court. The Bearable Bull, another XRP supporter, also expresses a desire for the issue to be heard by the Supreme Court. In the meantime, in response to the image of Garland House and Al-Daredi, pro-XRP lawyers led by John Deaton offered unsolicited advice to Ripple executives for the first time. Attorney Deaton said as he stood in front of the SEC headquarters, "You were sued just before the holiday season began. So I hope you like this template for a postcard you may send to Clayton Hinman and Gensler that simply reads, 'Don't blame us.'" It's important to note, as Deaton did, that Ripple has said it is open to settling with the SEC or taking the case all the way to the Supreme Court. The SEC has not indicated any willingness to compromise, and is instead requesting court certification of an interlocutory appeal. The SEC has submitted the required motion for an instant appeal and is waiting for a verdict. Now that we've reached the finish of the film, I'd appreciate it if you could give the video a thumbs up if you found it entertaining. Don't forget to sign up for alerts. See you later, bye.